Hello guys, Croft is here. Today I'm going to explain the complete xenomorph life cycle, which can be quite complex and varied under different circumstances. We'll cover every single xenomorph stage in detail, from the origins of alien eggs to the transformation of facehuggers into chestbursters and their progression to fully grown xenomorphs. Additionally, we'll delve into the evolution to more advanced stages such as the Alien Queen and other obscure stages in comics and video games. Before the xenomorphs emerged, Prometheus revealed the sequence of transformations that preceded the original xenomorph cycle. So to understand the origins of the xenomorph egg, let's first delve into what came before the egg. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content and join the Patreon for extra support. In Prometheus, a prequel to the original Alien, the black goo serves as a catalyst for a series of horrific transformations that ultimately lead to the birth of a Deacon, a distant xenomorph ancestor. When the crew of Prometheus lands on LV-223, they seek answers about humanity's origins. In that process, they discover mysterious cylindrical vases containing the black goo, or the pathogen, a potent biological agent capable of rewriting genetic material, triggering rapid and often grotesque mutations in any life form it contacts. The black goo first infects Charlie Holloway when the android David contaminates Holloway's drink with a drop of the goo. Holloway soon begins to exhibit symptoms of mutation and becomes gravely ill. During this time, Shaw, who is sterile, engages in intimate relations with Holloway. Shaw soon realizes that something is terribly wrong when a scan reveals a non-human organism growing inside her. Desperate and horrified, Shaw uses an automated medical pod and performs a high-tech surgery extracting the trilobite. The creature, resembling a squid-like organism, is removed from her body. But after this removal, the trilobite continues to grow at an accelerated rate. Meanwhile, Shaw and the surviving crew awaken one of the engineers, the ancient beings they believe to be humanity's creators, but their encounter turns violent. In the subsequent chaos, the trilobite, now significantly larger, encounters the engineer. The creature attacks, overpowers the engineer, and impregnates him by inserting an embryo into his throat, similar to the Facehuggers method in the xenomorph life cycle. The embryo rapidly matures within him, leading to a gruesome and violent birth of a new creature known as the Deacon. Although the script version of the Deacon was way different, the Deacon creature that we saw on the screen did not have any clear way of reproducing. The Neomorphs and Protomorphs in Alien Covenant had the exact same problem. The black goo's interaction with the fauna resulted in egg sacs that led to the emergence of neomorphs, but like the Deacons, these neomorphs were not able to reproduce. Recognizing this flaw, David mentioned in a deleted scene that he had only one thing to perfect, my queen, which would complete the xenomorph life cycle. Therefore, before the egg, there was the black goo, a potent mutagen that David used to revive or possibly even create the first alien egg in the xenomorph species. He may also have used Daniels to develop a queen, perfecting his xenomorph design into a self-reproducing species. Although there is still a gap in the timeline after Alien Covenant about how exactly he did it, here is a full overview of the complete xenomorph life cycle as we currently know it. The ovomorph, commonly referred to as the egg, is the first stage in the life cycle of the xenomorph species. The ovomorph is an egg-like capsule that contains a facehugger. These eggs are produced and laid by a queen, but they can also be created through a process called morphing, where a captured victim undergoes metamorphosis to become a viable ovomorph. In the deleted scene from the original Alien, Brett was captured by a xenomorph and brought to a hive where his body was morphing into an egg with a facehugger inside. Xenomorph eggs are often seen as inert vessels for facehuggers, but in reality they are complex organisms that exist in a symbiotic relationship with the facehugger. These eggs can detect nearby hosts, causing 4 petals to open and release the facehugger, typically containing 1 facehugger, but sometimes up to 4. An egg and its occupant weigh around 60 pounds. They thrive in hot, humid environments that can sustain facehuggers for centuries without external nutrients. Despite this, eggs can expire, as seen when an egg on LV-426 did not respond to contact. It is unknown whether an empty egg can produce more facehuggers. However, the fact that spent eggs are typically found hollow and empty suggests that it's highly unlikely. Dissection of eggs reveals that they have a basic central nervous system linked to thermo and pressure-sensitive veins on the surface, enabling them to detect nearby hosts. It's suggested that the egg's skin may have sensory organs for distant host location, allowing the facehugger to orient and assess host viability accurately. In the original Alien of 1979, some eggs appear almost transparent, suggesting that the outer shell might allow for visibility of the internal facehugger. Over time, undisturbed eggs can develop tendril-like roots that may absorb nutrients or facilitate communication between the eggs, which can be seen in the movie Aliens of 1986. This communication could inform other eggs of a host's approach, detect hosts directly, or even enable communication to the alien queen nearby. Another mystery surrounding the alien eggs is the blue mist. The eggs on Acheron were covered by a bluish mist that interfered with radio communications and reacted when broken. It's unclear if this mist was artificially created or generated by the queen or the eggs themselves. The only other time this mist is seen on screen is in Alien Romulus, which may provide further insights into its origin. The mist might also be a mechanism created by the engineers, as it has previously only been observed in the space jockey's juggernaut. The true origin of the eggs remains one of the biggest mysteries. It appears that David created the first xenomorph eggs, or at least a version of them in Alien Covenant. There is also evidence suggesting that he designed his xenomorph eggs based on another ancient egg he discovered on Planet 4. Additionally, there is a theory that the eggs found in the space jockey juggernaut on LV-426 were actually bioweapons, literal biobombs intended to be deployed on hostile targets. Another theory also suggests that the black goo urns in Prometheus eventually morph into eggs, however, there isn't much evidence for it. When a host is detected, the egg releases a catalyst that frees stored acids, transferring the energy to the facehugger, which becomes live at this point. The ovomorph sacrifices its bioelectrical potential to activate the facehugger for attack. The egg stopped and splits open to release the facehugger, which is one of the most horrifying jump scares in cinema. The facehugger is a parasitoid stage of the xenomorph species that hatches from an ovomorph. It represents the second stage in the xenomorph life cycle and exists solely to implant a chestburster into a living host through the mouth. Despite lacking real offensive capabilities, the facehugger relies on stealth, surprise, or immobilized victims to achieve implantation. Facehuggers are deceptively strong, possessing extreme strength for their size, often requiring several people to prevent them from impregnating a host. Notably, a facehugger dies shortly after completing its task. The facehugger resembles skeletal hands with a spine-like tail and 8 finger-like legs for rapid crawling and leaping. A facehugger's long, strong digits enable rapid movement and a firm grip on a host's head, making removal nearly impossible and ensuring implantation. Its tail helps in leaping and additional grip, sometimes strangling hosts, and the potent acid blood further complicates the removal. When a facehugger senses a nearby host that attempts to attach and subdue them, it leaps at the host's face with force and accuracy, wrapping its tail around their neck and digits around their skull. Once secured, it renders the host unconscious, with paralytic chemical causing vivid and distressing dreams. Humans, predators, or similarly sized beings are the most compatible hosts, as smaller hosts like cats are unsuitable. However, larger hosts like engineers can also be impregnated. The facehugger inserts a proboscis down the host's throat to supply air and implant a xenomorph embryo, a process which takes several hours. Various theories exist about the impregnation process, primarily that the proboscis invades the host's esophagus to implant an embryo. Another theory suggests that the facehugger implants cellular clusters of tumors, prompting the host's body to construct a chestburster internally. The currently accepted theory, however, is that the facehugger does not implant an embryonic xenomorph. Instead, it deposits a mutagenic substance called plagiaris prepotens into the host's esophagus. This mutagen reconstructs the host's cells, causing the host's body to form the chestburster from its own biological material. While there are no visible signs while the embryo is growing, hosts may sometimes develop a fever, sweat, and increased appetite. While it is possible to remove facehuggers before embryo implantation, the procedure is usually fatal for the host. The facehugger's strong grip, sedative chemicals, and acidic blood make safe removal nearly impossible. If a facehugger detects an attempt to detach it, it will kill the host to ensure they do not survive. However, there have been rare cases of facehuggers failing to subdue a host. For instance, on Acheron, Ellen Ripley managed to block a facehugger's attack with her hands. And with the assistance from the Colonial Marines, she was able to remove the facehugger before losing consciousness. Since the xenomorph is a highly adaptive life form, there exists a few facehugger variants. For example, the Royal Facehugger from Alien 3 with the ability to lay an alien queen embryo inside a host, or the Octo Facehugger, a deleted creature from Prometheus that was supposed to be an ancient version of a regular facehugger. Once the xenomorph embryo is implanted and reaches a certain size, a chestburster, the most gruesome xenomorph stage, emerges from a host. The chestburster, the infant form of the xenomorph species, represents the third stage in its life cycle and is infamous for its gruesome gestation process. As it matures, it violently bursts from the host's chest, causing a bloody and traumatic death. Typically small, chestbursters resemble large worms and are usually beige or brown, with metallic teeth and a tail for swift movement. Chestbursters incorporate about 25% of the host's genetic material, allowing them to adapt to their environment and evade the host's immune system. This genetic assimilation causes physical variations in adult xenomorphs, such as the Yautja mandibles and Predalien chestbursters. The emergence of a chestburster causes severe trauma, organ rupture, and massive blood loss, leading to a swift but excruciatingly painful death. The chestburster stage is the xenomorph's most vulnerable. Despite rapid growth, these infants are almost defenseless and rely on their acidic blood for protection. Although they can attack humans, they typically hide until they reach maturity. After emerging, chestbursters quickly grow into adult xenomorphs, with the alien on the Nostromo reaching adulthood within hours. They seek hiding places and consume organic materials and raw metals to increase their mass, shedding their skin repeatedly as they grow. While the birthing process is fatal, there have been instances where removing a chestburster before emergence leaves the host unharmed. For example, the removal of an alien queen embryo from Ripley 8 in Alien Resurrection. The xenomorph, commonly known as the alien and classified as XX-121, is an extremely aggressive extraterrestrial species. These predatory creatures have one and only goal, which is the propagation of their species and the destruction of any other life form they encounter along their path. Similar to wasps or bees, xenomorphs are hive creatures with a queen breeding numerous subordinate castes. They are known for their potent acidic blood and secondary inner jaws, but their defining characteristic is their gruesome life cycle. Besides their frequent conflicts with humans, xenomorphs are closely associated with the Yautja. The Yautja regard xenomorphs as highly dangerous and worthy prey, using them in initiation hunts to test young members of their society and mark their transition into adulthood, which is explored in AVP movies. Xenomorphs have a durable exoskeleton, blade-tipped tails, and biomechanical appearance, which allows them to seamlessly merge with the ship's interior. When standing upright, xenomorphs have a roughly bipedal appearance. They are incredibly strong, able to break through metal and wielded steel doors effortlessly, but their main weapon is their inner jaw, which can extend from their mouth with piston-like force capable of piercing through bone and metal. Xenomorphs adapt their physical appearance during development based on their host's physiology. Despite their seemingly fragile construction, their tails are powerful weapons capable of implanting and lifting a Yautja. These tails are used for stabbing, slashing, and blunt force trauma. Lacking traditional eyes, xenomorphs have sensory structures on their heads to detect vibrations, and their elongated skull functions as a biological sonar using echolocation to scan their surroundings. Their blood is a highly potent molecular acid, yellowish-green in color, and capable of corroding almost any substance on contact. This acidic blood acts as a component of a biological battery that powers the creature and is pressurized to sprout out defensively when wounded. The level of xenomorph sentience and intelligence is debated, but they exhibit some form of communication that synchronizes them with the Queen. But before we get to the Queen, there are two rare and relatively unknown castes that regular xenomorphs can evolve into. The Pretorian, also known as the Royal Guard, represents one of the final stages in the traditional xenomorph life cycle. When a hive's population exceeds 300 individuals, the Queen selects several xenomorphs to be fed royal jelly, which transforms them into Praetorians. These formidable creatures are larger and stronger than regular xenomorphs, but still smaller than the Queen. Praetorians serve as commanders of the hive and primary protectors of the Queen, ensuring her safety and maintaining order among the other xenomorphs. The Crusher, mainly featured in video games, is an advanced stage of the xenomorph life cycle, evolving from the Praetorian. Crushers share similar traits with Praetorians, but are even larger and stronger, characterized by a massive head crest used to deliver devastating blunt force trauma. But all xenomorphs, Praetorians, and Crushers are subordinate and controlled by the alien Queen, who serves as the mother and leader of the xenomorph hive. The Queen is the largest, strongest, and the most intelligent xenomorph stage. The Queen's appearance significantly differs from smaller variants. Typically stationary within the hive, queens are primary egg layers since their massive ovipositor renders them immobile. Queens are notably more intelligent than regular xenomorphs, exhibiting traits of wraith and vengeance, problem-solving skills, and the ability to issue commands to subordinate castes. Physically, they stand around 5 meters tall, twice the height of the most xenomorphs, with older queens growing even larger. Their thick mesoskeleton and additional armor allow them to withstand extensive gunfire. The exact process of a queen's creation is unknown. In the novelization of Aliens, Bishop theorizes that the introduction of royal jelly at the egg stage may lead to the creation of a queen, similar to how honeybee queens are created. This suggests that a queen is determined from the earliest stages of its life cycle. This theory is supported in Alien 3, where Ripley was impregnated by a royal facehugger capable of implanting a special alien queen embryo in a host. However, the 2010 AVP video game presents a different perspective. In the game, Specimen 6 evolves into a queen from a Pretorian stage, indicating that a xenomorph can transform into a queen later in its life cycle under certain conditions. This variation highlights the complexity and adaptability of the xenomorph species. However, an alien queen can eventually evolve into the Empress, an obscure stage in the xenomorph life cycle that briefly appears in video games. Empresses are physically larger and superior to regular queens, often ruling over multiple queens and their respective hives. However, they are subordinate to the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother, also known as the Mother Queen or Hive Mother, is the supreme controlling force of the xenomorph species, encountered only on Xenomorph Prime. Queen Mothers are enormous in size, and they rule over equally massive hives, often spanning over continents or entire planets, and they are believed to control every xenomorph within their domain. But due to their rare appearance and obscurity, Queen Mothers remain somewhat inconsistent in their portrayal. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts about the xenomorph cycle and where do you think the first alien egg came from? Besides different xenomorph stages, there exists over 60 xenomorph variants, so click on this video to learn about every single type of xenomorph. Also, consider contributing on Patreon if you want to help me make more videos like this one, and special thank you to those who already joined. Like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel for more content. My name is Croft and I'll see you in the next video.